I think Diet touched more lives than we can ever imagine, because he was so interested in people, and they knew that just instinctively that they could ask him something and that he would do whatever he could to help.
Dietrich Stroeh loved the Golden Gate Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge District as much as anybody I've ever met. He really loved the employees most particularly, but he loved the engineering components of the bridge piece of it, but also the ferry and the bus division as well. He just loved the district.
That's part of Diet's legacy, is that he made it a very personal experience. He wanted to know what the experience of the riders were on the buses and on the ferry. He wanted to have that personal experience. He wanted to be out there speaking to the people that make things run on a daily basis, the employees of the Bridge District.
But there's something in Dietrich Stroeh, obviously, that really likes people and wants to serve people. So wherever that came from, it was one of those consistent things throughout his life.
Diet moved to Marin County, I think, when he was 5, and lived there all of his life, loved it. Novato, when he went to high school, didn't have a high school, and so the Novato kids took the train down to San Rafael and went to high school in San Rafael. And Diet would always laugh and say, whenever the train stopped, the San Rafael kids would say, "Here come the Hicks from Novato."
So I've seen this place change radically, and I've been involved with city activities ever since my early 20s.
Diet was an interesting and eclectic guy politically. So I know that his party registration remained Republican all the way through. But Diet could just as easily be found at a progressive Democratic gathering or at one of my political events, and I'm a lefty. So Diet had some range, and he was comfortable with all of these different communities. That's what I find really remarkable about Diet. He could bridge kind of old boy backslapping conservative politics and hanging out with all the lefties that are so common here in Marin County, and was just as at ease and just as comfortable and just as well liked, frankly, in any of those circles and everything in between.
I certainly knew about him before I ever spent time with him. He had been the general manager of the Marin Municipal Water District, and he was the guy that came up with this really wonderful and innovative idea to bring water across the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge during the famous Marin County drought.
I did a column recently about how long it takes to get things done today. So I know Diet was famous for putting in the water pipeline in the 1970s when Marin was going a terrible drought. So I said, Diet, how did you do it so quickly? He says, well, with Caltrans, we were able to go to them and talk to them and convince them to do it. I said, how long did that take? Yeah, 45 minutes. He says, however the meeting lasted, however long it lasted. Wow. How about the environmental impact statement? How long did that take? Didn't take any time at all. He says, I declared emergency. We didn't do one. Where'd you get the pipe? Well, you needed pipe right away. I knew a guy in the East Bay that had a bunch of pipe in his agency. He wasn't going to use it for months, so he lent me the pipe. So we did it really quick. That's a can-do engineer. That's somebody who knows how to get things done. Diet did it with a smile.
It's a long time in coming to reopen this theater. It closed for 20 years.
I worked very closely with Diet on the Novato Downtown Theater. He worked to raise money. He gave speeches. It was such a passion with him.
But I was here opening night, and I was 10 years old in 1946. And everybody always asked me, what was the movie? Well, it was a love movie. And a 10-year-old boy doesn't like love movies. I didn't think much of it. Now, if I had 14, I would have been something else again.
We're going to open the Novato Theater, and we're going to turn the lights on for Diet. That's the new mantra.
He loved this community in a big way, whether it was his hometown of Novato or the Water District where he had such rich history, or his service on the bridge board. I mean, the Golden Gate Bridge is an icon of the North Bay community, and I think Diet always found it a great honor to sit on that board and to carry forward his long record of public service.
He'll be missed. Certainly his great sense of humor, but also the many other things that he brought to the Bridge District, his professionalism, his ability to move things along in a meeting, and certainly the spirit and his strong commitment to the Bridge District.
And I'm going to always miss that smile of his and who he was. We are better people for having had him in our lives, and for that, I'm terribly thankful.